What's up, everybody? Welcome back to West Coast Pop. It is your boy, the Final Boss, and today we have another entry in the Champion Series. This time we have from Osaka, Japan, Sekai Champion Kana, also known as the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Whether you know her as Kana-chan or Asuka, she's won so many world championships across the world in different promotions, and we're going to cover them all. You might learn something new today. In 2017, she was the #1 ranked female wrestler in the world, becoming the first Japanese female wrestler to top the list. So we're really gonna see how the Sekai Champion, the world famous Empress of Tomorrow, built her empire of gold. So without further ado, there's been enough talk. Let's kick it off with our video today, the Every World Championship won by...
Stop you!
What do you mean? This is my video. What do you mean, Asuka?
No one is ready for Asuka!
Let the games begin. Let's kick it off right with the first entry. First one up on the list, we have Asuka, now known as Kana-chan, taking on Serena. Yes, that's Serena Deeb. You might know her. This was the tournament to crown the first ever Smash Diva champion. After her awesome semifinal bout against Shuri, Kana-chan met up against Serena Deeb in a rematch for the finals. Serena Deeb was the big timer, looking down upon Asuka, calling her an amateur. So not only was Asuka out to become the first champion, but she was out for revenge. She was out for respect, and she brought her katana with her. I ain't gonna lie to you, if I see someone bring a katana to the ring, I'm walking out the building. Correction, I'm sprinting out feverishly. But nonetheless, the woman of 1,000 holes stayed put and decided to fight anyways, going back and forth, blow for blow against Kana. These two were in sync and put on a classic match to crown the first champion in 2011. But in the end, Kana-chan was too much. She hit her with a spinning kick, put her in that chicken wing, and 1, 2, 3, that was all she wrote. In the end, Kana and Serena shook hands, earning her respect and winning the belt. And if you've been watching these videos, you know what's coming next. If you do it once, you gotta do it twice. And what better way to do it twice than defeat the woman that defeated you and regain your belt? And that sweet revenge she would get in 2012 as she defeated Tomoka Nakagawa to avenge a loss and get her belt back. After regaining her belt, she would have another classic match with Shuri, and these two longtime rivals once again prove why they are dominating the women's division all across the globe, even to this day. It was also during this time that you would see Kana make her US debut in the famous promotion Shimmer, where she would dominate like usual and have matches against Mia Yim, LuFisto, Cheerleader Melissa, and of course Sarah Del Rey. Now, for this next entry in the list, if you're a DDT pro historian, if you keep up with the promotion, you might wonder and question why this entry is on the list, and I will tell you. This title is on the list because it's a personal thank you from me and the entire West Coast Pop to Kana-chan herself for whooping Michael Nakazawa's ass. That slippery, greasy fool Michael Nakazawa has been terrorizing AEW since it started in 2019. In 2012, Kana made her debut for the Japanese promotion DDT Pro Wrestling, which was also the home to the likes of Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and of course, Michael Nakazawa. Naka who? This Naka fool got knocked out by Kana. Eric of West Coast Pop is a Michael Nakazawa fan, so I hope he sees this. I hope he sees Kana straight run through his boy, Michael Nakazawa. But for the entry in this list, Kana became the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Champion. This title is pretty much the equivalent to the 24/7 belt in WWE, the hardcore belt in WWE, where it can be defended anytime, anywhere. And she happened to defend it and win it in a battle royal. And even though it's not really a major world championship, it's on the list because she whooped Michael Nakazawa. On behalf of West Coast Pop, arigato, Kana-chan. Next up on the list, we have Kana-chan entering the dark side with her dark clown makeup, taking on Marisa Nakajima in what was called the best bout of the year. Now, I'm gonna need you guys to hold on to your heads because for this entry, a lot of heads were smashed. And if you think I'm joking, check out this match. These two did not hold back. Arisa Nakajima is a former tag team partner, tag team champion with Kana. But that was all thrown out the window. No mercy, no holding back. They beat the brakes off of each other. And throughout the whole match, they did not let up. You would have thought she hawked up a big one and spit in her food the way they were fighting. You would not know these two women were best friends. But you know, it is what they say. Usually the best friends have the best matches. And the best friends had the best bout for the best example of a best match. And yes, I kept saying best because you gotta understand this was the best match in 2013. They stole it at Pure Slam. But in the end, Kana became the JWP Joshi World Open Weight Champion by putting her friend to sleep in the chicken wing, stealing her belt, smearing paint in her face, and completely disrespecting the viewing crowd. Next up on the list, and you gotta stick with me here because of the last entry, but yes, the woman she had the best bout match with, Arisa Nakajima, became her tag partner in 2014 in the Reina promotion as they became the Reina World Tag Team Champions. Together, they knocked off Lynn Byron and Suri after Kana, who was brought into the promotion as a consultant, decided to use her power, strip the former champions of their belts, insert her as the #1 contender, and pay off Suri's partner to win the championships. Arya and Makoto were the former tag champs, robbed of their belts by the Dark Clown, Kana. But it didn't stop there for the reigning Reina World Tag Team Champion Kana, as she would want more. She went to grab the Reina Women's World Championship and defeated Suri once more. She just keeps taking and taking from Suri, as she now took her tag title and now her world championship. Now holding both major world championships in the Reina promotion, she forms the Kana Goon, the Kana Army, and her own stable run roughshod. With all members of her stable wearing the Dark Clown makeup, they were unbeatable. And for the rest of her time in this promotion, she would reign as champion. Next up on the list, we enter the world of Tag Gold. And in 2011, Kana and her partner Ayumi Kurihara become the first ever Wave Tag Team Champions by winning the Dual Shock tournament by defeating Ran Yuyu and Toshi Imatsu. But let's take a quick step back here, as you guys might notice a trend. This actually wasn't the first tournament that Kana won for the Pro Wrestling Wave promotion. It wasn't even the only tournament she won that year, as she also defeated her partner to win the Catch Wave tournament in singles competition, continuing the trend of having a classic match with someone, beating them up, and also winning Tag Gold with them. But of course, if you do it once, you gotta do it twice. And now, one of the most iconic groups in Japanese Joshi women's wrestling, the Triple Tails Kana, Io Shirai and her sister Mio Shirai. This is where they began their ultimate takeover. The duo of Mio Shirai and Kana in 2013 defeated Tsukasa Fujimoto and Misaki Ohara. And in this victory, the Pro Wrestling Wave Tag Team Championships were the first championship gold brought to the Triple Tails stable. I highly recommend checking out some of the Triple Tails work during this time because they had some great matches with notable names like Hikaru Shida and Ayako Homada. And I mean, you got a team of Asuka, Io Shirai, and Mio Shirai. You can't do much better than that. That's the dream team. But dream on. For our next entry on the list, we go over to the land of NXT as Kana-chan, now known as the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, is back in America wrestling for WWE. And at this point, Asuka is known for just beating people up. I mean, stiff, hard-hitting wrestling and submission moves galore. So how will that translate to the American audience? How will that translate to WWE NXT? Well, I'll tell you, it translates to dominance. It equals an undefeated streak like no other. We have never seen anyone with a dominant, undefeated streak like this. Move over, Goldberg. I don't want to hear none of that noise. This is Asuka. And for 522 days, she reigned as the NXT Women's Champion after defeating Bayley at TakeOver Dallas 2016. And this was no regular Bayley. This was prime time off the match of the year with Sasha Banks Bayley. This is a hugger Bayley. This is the crowd is behind you. You were the biggest babyface in NXT Bayley. Not only did she beat her once, but she beat her twice, sent her packing, sent her on her way. She even defended the belt against a returning Mickie James, which is probably Mickie James' best match in WWE at the time. I'm talking classics with Ember Moon. I'm talking Nia Jax running to people bigger than her. I'm talking multiple people at the same time. 3 women, 4 women, it didn't matter. Asuka was gonna kick you, she was gonna put you to sleep, and it was curtains when she locked in the Asuka lock. It was curtains when she locked in the ankle lock. It was curtains when she locked in the armbar. It doesn't matter if it was a hardcore match. It didn't matter if it was a regular match. It just did not matter when it came to Asuka and NXT. She was a force. So if there's one thing you can remember from this video, from this run in NXT, it was a force. It was unbeatable, unstoppable, unbreakable. Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, took over today. She was the longest reigning NXT champion, the greatest NXT champion, and the most dominant wrestler in NXT history, bar none. I can go for days about Asuka's run in NXT because there was nothing more special, nothing more impressive than this run. I mean, this is how you come into a company and assert yourself at the top, and it never let up. She kept putting on banger after banger after banger. Really good stuff. She only lost the belt because she got injured and had to let it go. But to this day, she is still the longest reigning NXT champion, possibly the greatest run of her career, possibly the greatest run of NXT. Let us know in the chat below what you guys thought of this run and how dominant, how great it was. Because at this time, there's going beast mode and then there's going Asuka mode, and that's a step above. Shout out to Asuka and this NXT run because it is that damn good. Next up on the list, now on the main roster, we have the Empress of Tomorrow winning today, and that day happened to be the Royal Rumble 2018, where she became the first ever woman to win the Royal Rumble. So continuing another trend as we've seen in the previous entries, Asuka wins first. She became the inaugural winner of the Royal Rumble, outlasting 29 other women. Women that included legends like Lita and Trish Stratus, legends like Jacqueline and Mickie James, future GOATs like Kairi Sane, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, and the list goes on and on. But finally in 2018, we got a Women's Royal Rumble, long overdue, like I can't believe. And these women showed out with all the hype. They lived up to it, exceeded it, stole the night, and put on a show. We even got a special spot from Naomi to re-enter the Rumble after almost getting eliminated very closely. Cool stuff there. We had the surprises. We had the spots. We had the legendary crossover encounters between stars of today and stars from before that we never thought we'd see, which is really cool. But in the end, there can only be one. And from the 25th spot, lasting 20 minutes, after eliminating a rival in Ember Moon, after eliminating a rival in Nia Jax, there was 2 women left, and that was Asuka and former WWE Divas champion Nikki Bella. And in an encounter that could have literally went either way, both women were on the apron after Asuka used her leg to get Nikki out. Nikki counters with a punch, knocking Asuka to the ground, but Asuka, resourceful and cunning, kicks Nikki Bella's knees from under her and knocks her out to win the Rumble. She sent her home, sent her to the shower, sent her packing. Shout out to Nikki Bella for being a top 2, but this is the Asuka video, and Asuka would go on to headline WrestleMania. Next up on the list, after winning the Royal Rumble, after headlining Mania against Charlotte, you'd have thought this would have been the best year of her career. But after some questionable booking, and to the viewer, like, just stuff that didn't make sense. Let's ask Asuka what she thought about her year in the booking after the Rumble.
Oh,
I know what baka means.
Yes, thank you for your insight, Asuka. Strong words from Asuka. Yes, stupid book. But besides all that, despite all of that, she still managed to climb to the top, literally and figuratively, as she knocked off Charlotte and Becky at TLC 2018 to close out the year on top as a WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Finally, the Empress of Tomorrow became the Empress of Today, winning gold on the main roster for the first time. Long overdue. Some people thought it should have happened at Mania, but either way, she ended the year as champion. Some might say Ronda Rousey helped her win this match, but hey, who climbed the ladder? Who actually was in the match and grabbed the gold for the victory? A win is a win. This is the Asuka Champions video, so we will not accept that slander. I know what it looks like, but I'll tell you what it is. And during this reign, Asuka would walk into the Royal Rumble as champion and walk out as champion as she defeated the man, Becky Lynch. This was the height of Becky's run as the man, and even that was not enough for Asuka as she tapped out the man night to a variation of her submission move similar to a Bryan Danielson move, but either way, it was curtains for the man. Next up on the list, we jump back into the world of tag team wrestling as Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, teams with the pirate princess herself, Kairi Sane. They were brought together by Paige, Saraya to some but legend to the world, and together they were known as the Kabuki Warriors. And in October 2019, the champions then were the team of Cross Bliss, the best friend group of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Cross Bliss had the momentum, they had the WWE Universe on their side, the fan base, everything was going right for these tag champs until they ran into Asuka and Kairi Sane. When you're getting kicked left and right by Asuka, when you get hit with the insane elbow by Kairi until it runs out. And if you thought Asuka's new face paint was just coincidence, you were wrong. The face paint symboled the mist, and the mist came and sprayed all over Nikki Cross. And if the ref doesn't see it, it's legal. Asuka and Kairi Sane for the victory, baby. Next up on the list, as I've said in this video before, Asuka likes to do things first, and she continued to do just that. This is a double entry. First up, we have the Money in the Bank in 2020 during the pandemic. Asuka put the whole team on her back. She was the most entertaining part of the pandemic. If there's anything to go back and watch from the pandemic era, the Thunderdome era, it is Asuka. I'm telling you, week after week, she was gold. But in the first Money in the Bank to happen at WWE headquarters, she made her way through the building, through the elevators, and outsmarted the other women. She didn't even fall for the fake Money in the Bank. While the women's Money in the Bank was happening, the men's Money in the Bank was happening simultaneously. And she even cost Baron Corbin a chance at Money in the Bank. Thank you, Asuka. And she grabbed the Money in the Bank briefcase and struck gold. And no, that is not a metaphor. She literally struck gold winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. As you found out on the Raw after the pay-per-view, Becky Lynch was relinquishing the title and put the Raw Women's Championship in the briefcase. So the winner of that match was going to become the new Raw Women's Champion. As the man was headed off to be the mom, she told Asuka to be the warrior that she was, and she was now the new Raw Women's Champion. Asuka was the first person to cash in Money in the Bank by not cashing in. And the celebration was on. Bust out the bubbly, bust out the dance moves. Asuka was on fire. She not only became the Raw Women's Champion, but she became the Triple Crown Champ. Grand Slam Champion if you count NXT. Either way, Asuka is dripping in gold. I mean, seriously, at this point in the pandemic, you were only tuning in for the golden role models, Zelina and Andrade, and Asuka. She proved during this time that she was not only a great wrestler, but she was a great entertainer, and she kept people glued to the screen. Next up on the list, like I said in the previous entry, the two highlights of the pandemic era were the golden role models, and of course Asuka and Kairi Sane. And at SummerSlam 2020, after losing her belt to Sasha Banks, after losing Kairi Sane storyline wise because Bayley took her out in the back, Asuka was out for revenge. And if you've seen in the previous entries, when Asuka is out for revenge, it does not go well for her opponents. She became the first woman ever to contend and compete for both women's titles in the same night. The warpath of Asuka was almost too much for the golden role models. Bayley already lost her NXT title to Asuka. She's already traumatized. She knows what's about to happen. She knows what time it is. Luckily for Bayley, Sasha Banks put everything on the line to ensure Bayley snuck out, ducked and dodged, and escaped Asuka to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship. And you'd think Bayley would return the favor, but psych, she wasn't there for her like Sasha was, and Asuka ran through Banks in a great match and regained her title. And if you do it once, you gotta do it twice, and Asuka became the two-time Raw Women's Champion. No, she didn't walk out with both belts, but the golden role models were never the same after they ran into Asuka. Next up on the list, we have Asuka joining the club, joining the trend, joining the party started by Becky, Sasha, and Bayley of becoming a double champion holding two belts, as she became the two-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion during her second Raw Women's Championship reign. Now you already have Asuka, who's already a dominant champion. She's already been Tag Team Champion. She's already at the top of the mountain as the Raw Women's Champion. Who else could be her partner? Now that Kairi's gone, who else would you add to the mix? How about none other than the surprise return of the Queen? Woo! Charlotte Flair coming to tag with Asuka. And this continues another trend of Asuka having a great rivalry with someone and then tagging with them later to become champions. And at TLC 2020, the former WrestleMania opponents Charlotte and Asuka defeated the tag team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to become WWE Women's Tag Team Champions of the world. And once again, Asuka brought the entertainment and was on fire during this time. Next up on the list, we're almost caught up to present day, but Asuka became a three-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. Now aligned with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Asuka and Alexa Bliss came together to take on the team of Damage Controls, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. With Bayley ringside, they defeated this duo. This was such an unlikely pairing of Alexa Bliss and Asuka because a few years before, they were fighting against each other for the tag team titles. Now they're together with the same goal, the same agenda. And getting this victory, they both became three-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Alexa Bliss 2 times with Nikki, 1 time with Asuka, and Asuka is the only woman in history to have 3 different partners for the tag team gold, as Charlotte, Kairi Sane, and now Alexa Bliss. The Empress Asuka keeps adding gold and glory to her resume, and she still isn't finished. We've reached that point in the video where I say, what is left? What is left to accomplish? She's done it all, what's left? And for this next entry on the list, the Dark Queen Asuka has made her return. She has made her debut in WWE. The Asuka, the Kana we talked about in the earlier part of this video, is now wreaking havoc in WWE. She's going after Bianca Belair at this year's WrestleMania. Dark Asuka punched her ticket to Mania after punching 5 other women in the Elimination Chamber and gaining the victory. And with her new submission move, she tapped out Carmella to win the match. With this victory, she has now won every single championship in WWE, the NXT Championship, the Tag Team Championship, SmackDown and Raw Women's Championships, and she's also won the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and Elimination Chamber. No one is more accomplished than Asuka in WWE history. So next up is WrestleMania, where Asuka is looking to win her first singles match on the grandest stage of them all, but in her way stands the current Raw Women's Champion looking for her 3rd straight WrestleMania win. So I need y'all to let us know in the comments below. Did Bianca hit the trifecta, or did Asuka grab her 3rd Raw Women's Championship? And if you liked the video, Asuka lock the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit all the notifications so you know when we're dropping next. We're so excited to bring you these videos. Let me know in the comment section below who you'd like to see next. This has been the Asuka Every World Championship video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, y'all.